A single promise of half a kingdom was enough to awaken greed, fear, and the darkest corners of the human heart. A mighty king once called his most trusted minister into the royal court and made an offer that stunned everyone present. "Answer 3 questions within 7 days," the king declared, his voice echoing through the hall, "and I will grant you half of my kingdom. Fail to answer them, and you will face death." The court fell silent. Half a kingdom, power beyond imagination. But behind the reward stood a shadow: execution. The minister felt a surge of excitement. Greed whispers louder than caution. Without hesitation, he accepted. The king's questions seemed simple, yet they carried the weight of life and death. What is the greatest truth in the world? What is the greatest deception in the world? What is the sweetest thing in the world? The minister immediately gathered the wisest scholars of the kingdom. They debated endlessly. Some said love was the greatest truth. Others argued it was faith, justice, or loyalty. When asked about deception, they listed betrayal, illusion, temptation, and false hope. But every answer felt incomplete. Nothing stood above all else. Days passed. Sleep abandoned the minister. Fear began tightening around his chest. The closer the 7th day came, the less clearly he could think. Terrified of execution, he disguised himself and fled the capital under the cover of darkness. As night settled over the countryside, he came upon a farmer digging the earth with calm determination. The farmer looked up and recognized the minister despite his disguise. Exhausted and desperate, the minister revealed everything: the offer, the questions, the approaching death sentence. The farmer listened patiently and then spoke in a steady voice. "The greatest truth in the world is death. No king can command it away. No minister can negotiate with it. It comes to every soul without exception." The words struck deep. Spiritually, death is the only certainty in human existence. Yet the human mind constantly avoids thinking about it. "And the greatest deception?" the minister asked anxiously. "Life," the farmer replied. "Life deceives people into believing it is permanent. It distracts them with ambition, pleasure, and comfort until they forget that every breath is temporary." The minister felt a chill. These answers carried a strange and undeniable weight, but one question remained. "What is the sweetest thing in the world?" he asked, urgency trembling in his voice. The farmer paused before answering. "If I save your life with my final answer, what will you give me in return?" The minister quickly offered 20 horses and a respected position in the royal stables. The farmer refused. He offered wealth and protection. The farmer shook his head again. Frustration rose inside the minister. He assumed the farmer wanted half the kingdom itself. As the minister turned to leave, the farmer spoke calmly. "If you run, you will spend your life running. The king's soldiers will chase you until they find you. If you return without answers, you will be executed. You are trapped between fear and fear." The minister stopped walking. At that moment, a dog wandered toward a nearby bowl of milk and drank half of it before trotting away. The farmer pointed toward the bowl and spoke clearly. "I do not want your kingdom. I do not want your horses. If you truly want the answer to your 3rd question, drink the remaining milk in that bowl. Do this, and I will tell you." The minister stared at the bowl in disbelief. Only moments ago, he had stood in royal courts. Now he was being asked to drink what a dog had left behind. His pride rebelled, but fear was stronger. The instinct to stay alive overrides dignity, reputation, and ego. The minister slowly bent down, lifted the bowl, and after a brief hesitation, drank every last drop. When he finished, humiliation burned in his chest. "Now tell me," he demanded quietly. The farmer looked at him with knowing eyes. "The sweetest thing in the world is a man's self-interest. For his own benefit, he will abandon pride, swallow insult, break principles, and lower himself beyond what he once believed possible." Silence filled the night. In that single act, the minister had lived the answer. Death is the greatest truth because none escape it. Life is the greatest deception because it makes us forget that truth. And self-interest is the sweetest temptation because for it, we will sacrifice almost anything. The story does not merely describe a minister, it describes the human mind. When reward calls, we ignore risk. When life distracts us, we forget death. When self-interest is threatened, we justify even humiliation. The real question is not whether the minister returned to the king. The real question is this: if your life, your power, or your comfort were at stake, how much of yourself would you be willing to swallow?